Welcome, guys. It's another time of the week where we get to attack. We get to attack another gender gain. So this week, I think before we start, I hope you've had a lovely week. I have myself, and yeah, it's going on well. Yeah, so welcome. We do another episode, and this time I think I am with the guys, on the guys' side. So I'm with us. Now, we know what weddings are. Yeah, it is just a sweet occasion where two lovebirds come together through a union, a lawfully recognized union, so that they can form a pact, a very strong pact. At least we tend to believe so. It's a very strong pact that is meant to last forever. That's how disillusioned we are, because in most cases they don't last forever, but we do hope that they do. So weddings are a beautiful thing. I support them. I love them. But do you know who loves them most? Yeah, you just thought right. It's usually the women. So a wedding can be traditional, the ones we are used to. We are in Africa. Our different ethnicities, they had different settings for weddings. They had different programs, procedures for the traditional weddings. Yeah, and I know each and every one of us belongs to a certain ethnic group where we had our cultural celebrations, specifically the weddings. And yeah, then we also have the white weddings, the ones we are nowadays getting ourselves into. We've kind of abandoned the traditional weddings and we've gotten to the Western ones. Let me say it's an imported culture that we have embraced. So basically, they are the church weddings where we have the grooms doing some very nice suits and the brides doing some very nice gowns, mostly white or cream. Yeah, and I think that is why they're called white weddings, because the bride does a white gown or dress, whatever, with the veil. So let's leave alone the one involving the AG, that the Attorney General, where you go to an office with some two witnesses, make some signatures here and there. Yeah, that's also another form of wedding recognized by law, but it's not part of our discussion. So my question today is, or what I'm going to talk about today is, who are weddings really for? Yes. This is something that has been bothering me for a while. It has been in my mind for a while. I've been battling with it. I've been trying to analyze it, looking at it through different lenses. And yeah, I ask again, who are weddings really for? So this is my opinion, and I'm sure most people agree with me. So in my opinion, weddings are mostly, mark my words, not all or entirely, mostly, weddings are for the women. And I have my reasons for this. They are very serious reasons. You can choose to support them or not, depending on your opinion. Remember, your opinion is always right, just as mine is. So I think weddings are for women simply because they're the ones who are happy from the onset. Remember, A proposal marks the beginning of the process into a wedding. And when a guy proposes, it's almost like the guy has instantly handed over the keys of the wedding to the lady. That ring, it's a signification, or it's symbol of that surrendering control. It's almost like you've gone down on your knees and asked them, okay, could you please take charge, do everything that is required of this kind of a program, and bring me in whenever you feel like. So do all that is necessary. I'll be here. So when we propose, when we go down on our knees, we are simply handing over our power or control. We are giving it to the lady, and they accept it gladly. They're usually celebrating, jumping up and down, shedding tears. It's a good thing. It's a nice thing. I support it. I love it, actually. I'm not holding a grudge out of this, or I'm not negative about women being the ones in control 90% of a wedding. But my point is, they are usually the happiest from proposal all the way. And they share these a lot to their families and friends who are equally happy. Of course, the groom does the same on their side. They share, and everyone loves it. Now, from there, in most cases, those who have taken part in wedding plannings, or those who have actually been married through the wedding thing, the white wedding thing, I think you've realized that after the proposal, the question usually is, when can we set the date? What would the date be? And it usually goes down to the lady's choice. In most cases, they pick the date. They'll be like, okay, I want the date, the wedding, our wedding to be on my birthday. Yeah, many do that, so that it means something to them twice. It's a wedding and it's a birthday. Some would suggest that the date is on the anniversary, the anniversary of when they met. Remember, it's the wedding, so it's not the wedding anniversary, but it's the first time maybe they met, or the first time they hooked up, or anniversary to something. So in most cases, they merge these dates together, and then from there, now we progress. Some might take weeks, some might take months, and some go to as long as a year or years. Remember, from proposal to the wedding, it differs due to so many factors. Like recently, we had people planning for weddings, and then COVID came. It took almost 2 years before they could go into it. Sometimes you might plan for a wedding, and then you might hope for a wedding, then an emergency comes up. Some family member might unfortunately pass on, or some financial crisis just hits. So we never we just do hope for a good end, and that our plans go the way we want them to. But sometimes it takes a while before the wedding kicks in. But either way, during this period, culminating to the actual date, there are plans being made, there are preparations being done, and we realize that they are usually run by the lady to the end, despite the fact that it's a very overwhelming process. Planning for a wedding, take it from me. Okay, I'm not married, okay, but I have assisted here and there. It's extremely overwhelming. It's a headache. It's hard. It's a challenge. It's devastating. There's no word to describe what it is. The planning of a wedding is hard, and that is why we have people nowadays who have a career along that line. They call themselves the wedding planners. So they take the load off. They take the load off of you, and then they do most of the lifting. Yeah. So while the ladies are handling the plannings and the programs and all these kind of shit, men on the other side are just there to be frustrated. Yeah, yeah. I kid you not. They're just there to be frustrated, and yeah, they are mostly asked about. They're asked if this is good or that is bad. But for example, the lady comes with a choice of two things: a venue, probably, and then you as the groom, you are asked this or that, and then you weigh in your opinion. But remember, your opinion never really counts because it's never gonna be taken anyway. In most cases, you are the last person to be consulted about such kind of question, such kind of things. It has already run through a panel. The mom has been asked. The maid of honor has been asked. A couple of close friends have been asked. You are simply you're simply being approached as a formality, maybe, so that you won't get mad and be like, why didn't you ask me? But generally, you're not being consulted as a priority. So she comes there, you'll be asked about or asked to pick, or what do you think about this or about that. You'll weigh in your opinion, and then yeah, it won't count. Sometimes it counts, but in most cases, your opinion, trash. So basically, we are just there to be frustrated. And then the most important role that we play, because we are the men in this, is usually, excuse me, it's usually just to provide the cash. And yeah, because we are usually mostly the financiers. Of course, the ladies do a lot of the financial weightlifting, but we mostly handle the accounting stuff. So the money usually resides with the gentlemen, such that when this is needed, when some 100K is needed to book something, quickly you're contacted there, and you wire the cash. When some payment needs to be done for the cake, you're contacted quickly. Or when something needs to be done, when some reservations are supposed to be made, you are supposed to be handling that. The transactions are basically the role of a guy in a wedding, and I'm sure you can agree with me. So apart from handling the transactions, being the bank, being the money bank, the guys also handle a very critical part. Remember, the planning of a wedding is extremely overwhelming. It is hectic, it's devastating, it's exhausting, and it's tiring. So at times the ladies or the wedding planners, they normally sometimes hit a rock. They get to a dead end where this is not working or this is working. So you come in to always handle this. You handle the devastations. So if something is delaying somewhere or something is not happening as it was required, yeah, phone call straight to you. You're always on the speed dial. So you are asked to handle the the matters that are delaying, the matters that are not working, those things that are not in place and it's too late. So you chip in quickly and then you handle them. You rub a few shoulders here and there to ensure that they work out. That's basically your job, and it's actually a guy's job generally in a relationship. When your woman gets a headache from this, you're supposed to be handling that. Take it away from her. Let her have some mental peace, and fill it up in your own brain, because you can handle it. You can handle it. We've been made to handle challenges and difficulties and all that. So so the guy's work is money and handling problems here and there, while the lady does the sweet little things like the venue picking. You'll be asked about to weigh in your opinion, but of course she'll have the say, the last say on the matter. Then we have one of the most important things is color picking. Remember, we normally have dress codes in some weddings. We also have the venue colors, like you might want gold and white, or yellow and blue, whatever. This color picking is usually done by the bride, and in consultation with some very important people. Top of the list are the best friends, the close friends. So they normally weigh in. You might not even be asked, but sometimes you'll be informed. There's a difference between being asked and being informed. So they'll be like, babe, we had this and this to choose from, and we've decided to go with this. What do you think? Yeah, and as a guy, it's always wise to not try to be cheeky. You just simply say yes. It's a good one. I love it. Remember, the colors are basically theirs. We don't care about colors. And if we are allowed to weigh in our opinion, we'll normally pick very dull colors or mix matched colors or something. So it will be a disaster. So the color picking, it's usually done by the lady, the dress code and all that. The number of guests, yeah, it's mostly the lady who decides. We want to have 100 guests, 200, 300. They cap it somewhere. They might suggest that we only need 200 max or 150 max. No going beyond that. So your work as the groom is just to accept it and say, yeah, okay, I think it's a wise decision. Yeah, if it's an extraordinary decision, then you start planning on how to increase your budget. Remember, guests normally have to be accommodated in terms of feeding mostly. So yeah, then apart from the number of guests, I also think they have a great choice on who gets invited and who doesn't. Remember, it's not always all relatives and all friends and all work colleagues that are invited to such ceremonies. So in most cases, when it comes to family and friends, the ladies, the bride decides this. Of course, the groom's opinion matters. They might also have reserved their opinions. They have reserved opinions about who isn't supposed to attend or who must attend, and oftentimes these opinions might cross paths, but they usually end up in agreement. So in most cases, these opinions might cross paths, and of course, they'll end up in an agreement about who should come and who should not. Mostly, the ladies decide who should not come. And then we also have a very important thing about a wedding, which is the cake. The size of the cake, the color choice, the flavors, the type of cake, everything around the cake. This is purely done by the bride. I think only 5% or 3% of the decisions around the cake will be actually made by the guy. Your work might only just be to bargain for the price, nothing else. So the type of cake, the color, the flavors to be used, all these things are just the bride's job. We also have the foods that are supposed to be available for the guests, mostly by the bride. So apart from what I have discussed, I'm sure there are other things that just point to the fact that the wedding is basically the bride's thing, the woman's thing, from the onset, from the proposal. So yeah, men are just there to participate in the process. They don't own the process. So apart from weddings being purely or mostly about the bride being their most important occasion day, they are also for the bride's family. And I say this why? Because they are actually giving out an important part of themselves to you. So yeah, it's very important for them. It's a very important thing for the bride's family. So, and we always do everything to ensure that they are comfortable, they are happy, they enjoy the wedding. So simply because they are letting go their loved one and you're welcoming them, they're very important. So a wedding is very, very important. Weddings are also meant for the bride's family. And then of course, after that we have the friends, both the groom's and the bride's friends. Weddings are also for them. Remember, some come to benchmark. Unfortunately, they're coming to benchmark. So yeah. So then at the bottom of the pyramid, no, at the top of the pyramid, or at the bottom of the pyramid if it's inverted. So we have, yeah, down here at the bottom of the pyramid, now we have the groom and perhaps the groom's family. So yeah, weddings aren't really for us. Yeah, even the friends come before the groom, unfortunately. Oh. Yes, that's it. And that's it for today. We were trying to find out who weddings really are for, and we've just discovered that they are mostly for the ladies, the bride, and yeah, as it should be. Ain't complaining. We don't even lie. Oh yeah. Okay, till we meet again, goodbye. Watch out for our next episode. Tuesdays we will be doing the besties in relationships, and as usual, Thursdays and Sundays we do this segment about gender controversies. So keep watch, subscribe, follow, like, and share with friends, relatives, and colleagues. Till next time, take care and peace.